stay
Oh
on
yeah,
LAN?
of course. Like all we had to do was just play how we did online, and that's what we did. So it's
Yep.
really simple.
Yep. All right. Well, you know, let's talk about COD Champs because that's what comes
Hmm.
up next. Now, this was a big event. Okay, so for those of you guys that didn't know, Avant had the lineup of Vilesyder, who we have here, Kui, Benno, and Hopi. Um, and Issei was in Curse, also known as Trident
Hmm.
T1 Dollars back then. So there was Issei, Dens, Damage, and
Hmm.
Chilean. So the first step that we had was the online qualifier, the Australian online qualifier, which I just pull this up here, you guys Curse, or known as
Yeah.
T1 Dollars, you guys placed
Yeah. Is
second
this
in
the
that.
online qualifier or the
So
LAN?
yeah, this is the
Yeah.
online
I remember.
qualifier. So you guys had qualified online, so you knew that you were going to
Hmm.
Sydney. That was confirmed. Um, what was that like for you guys, knowing that you were in the top eight?
Um, Thinking back now, at the time I was like really upset because in that online qualifier, um, if we're talking about the same thing, the one that was run on game battles, which I think it was, like we'd made it to the grand final. Yeah, we knew that we had a seed for Sydney and all this kind of stuff, but we were going to play, and then something had come up, and we ended up getting forfeit in the grand final because Chilean had to do something because a family crisis had happened, and knowing immunity, of course, they were going to take the cheap win, and that they did. So at the time, like I was really upset, and I don't like you're playing for your country, so you really want to play by the rules. You know what I mean? Like I mean, if something like that happens, you should have good faith that we should reschedule the match or something like that. But it doesn't matter. So at the time, we were actually pretty upset. Like we were actually really upset that we came second, and the fact that we got forfeited in the grand final. But obviously, Sydney was what mattered the most. So that's all that really mattered.
Yep. And now, of course, Avant in the online qualifier, they didn't do that well. They didn't actually qualify.
Nope.
You guys ended up actually, you guys got 3-1 by Issei's team, on that day. So now, Kyle, you haven't skipped a LAN, so you knew that you were
Yep.
going to go to LAN, right? But how did that, what were you thinking of your team, and how well you do going into the LAN qualifier and not qualifying online?
Honestly, the online qualifier was like that was the one that was single limb, wasn't it? Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like it was probably the worst possible way of having anyone qualify for LAN. Single limb. We had Benno who was like ranging anywhere from like maybe if he was lucky 50 to like 7,000 ping. So we basically knew we had like little hope of actually doing anything online. The whole purpose of the online for us is just to practice and to just be prepared for the LAN. So of course we played it like we didn't go in there with a negative view knowing that we were going to lose. We just knew that basically everything was stacked up against us and we just have to do what we can and learn as much as we can, which is all we did because we knew a lot of teams would rip out their strats or at least some enough to get them over the line to win. So basically that was just a big learning experience for us. That's about it.
Right. So, next up, we travel to Melbourne, where we do the LAN qualifiers. Now, I remember watching this event from home, and God, it was such a good event. Um, Issei, you ended up actually
Yeah,
placing second. You guys fell just short to immunity. It was 6-5 in the
yeah.
grand final. Now, obviously placing second again to immunity, and this is on LAN. This was your first time on LAN
Hmm.
with your team. I think you guys there proved everyone wrong
Oh yeah,
about you
fuck oath.
guys. Um, yeah, so going that close against immunity, what was that match and LAN like for you guys?
Well, like as I said before, all we had to do was just play how we played online, and the game was still early. So as Kyle said, like everything was a learning experience. Like it was, I was really happy that they had a qualifying round as well for teams that didn't qualify online. I think that was very fair, and the land itself was good because I mean, who would want to go into the qualifier to go to LA without playing on land before? You know what I mean? So I think it was a really good idea. and the fact that Chilean Dens and Damage got to have a taste of what it is like on LAN and no online bullshit. So I think it was a really good for us.
Yeah, and the match, you know, because earlier on in the day, you guys had actually 3-2'd
Yeah,
immunity, and then they went through the
yeah,
losers bracket and beat Avant
yeah, that's right.
3-1. Now, in that grand final, you know, you guys had the lead. What was it best? Was it continuation? Do you
Probably
remember?
was. Yeah, probably was. Yeah.
It would have been.
Probably was. Yeah. So you guys only had to win 3 more maps, you know. So going into that match, um, what was your team like? You know, what were the
No, we were
feels?
pretty pumped
What were
up
the
because
feels
like we were
like?
the very first team that beaten IM on LAN. So I was like, oh, well, this is going to be like strong. And I remember we went to Macca's, we had a feed, had a smoke, and just like relaxed and watched them play the rest of the tournament. And I think it was good, as I said before. But I remember we we lost the last map. It was S&D Octane. We lost 6-0. I remember we just got like literally decimated, and we never lost that map again. So I guess you could say it was good. But yeah, that last map was just good for us to play before the Sydney qualifiers. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Now,
Yep.
Kyle, you guys got knocked down to the losers bracket by Trident T1 in the second round. That was a 3-0. It was a
Mhm.
3-0 loss. But you guys had got confirmed. You guys were top 8
Mhm.
there, and you guys had to continue through. You know, after you guys got knocked down, and you knew that no matter what, you were going to Sydney. You know, what were you guys feeling like continuing out through the day through the losers bracket?
It's pretty well just the equivalent of online. Like when you're there, we just had to show up there, we had to qualify, and that was really the goal. Of course, it's nice for a win, but where we were there, we specifically didn't do anything fancy at all. Like the whole goal of that LAN was just to show up, not scrape by, but not show off really anything. Like we had a lot of stuff saved for champs that we just really, really didn't want anyone to see. I mean, we still fought hard, we still played right, we still did everything we needed to do, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. I know our games against Immunity were really close. Like, what did you say? It was a 3-1? But
Yeah,
yeah,
it
that
was
3-1
3-1.
doesn't indicate like what the scoreline was at all. From memory, like we played Octane that LAN and then again at Champs, and those games were like I think Immunity brought it back in like the last minute or so, or was really really close. So we weren't really fussed because we knew we weren't running anything fancy. But we still did well anyway.
Yeah, so you guys ended up getting third place, and Issei, you guys ended up getting
Mm-hmm.
second. So the next thing was
Yeah.
Sydney. Now this was where it was decided what 2 teams from the Australian and New Zealand region would be going to LA to compete against the best
Yeah.
teams in the world. Now, before we get into the bracket for this, you guys would have gone home from Melbourne. You guys knew that you were going, no matter what. And did you guys put in more prep time? Did you guys come up with any new stuff? And what were you guys thinking going into
Yeah, well, we
Sydney?
had stuff that I'm sure every smart team would have done, and like had things that were just like 100% just for Sydney qualifiers. You know what I mean? And like that's what we had, and it honestly really helped us, especially in S&D. Like when you look at our team for S&D, like it's pretty good. So like we always strive to like win every S&D we could, and we had like a lot of things that we had obviously not revealed to everyone else, and like I'm sure every team would have done it, especially Avant and Immunity.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, like placing second at Melbourne was good. Like as I said before, it was good for like all the boys to get a taste of what land's like, and the main thing about our team at the time, and I think it still is a factor today, is just like how much energy we have when we play. If we're like not energetic, it's just like catch you later. Like we may as well not even play. So we realized that as soon as we started playing on LAN, like we're pretty much a hype team, and like we're fucking like we excel when we're all pumped up. So that was like a really good point for us to realize, and it just came in time for Sydney.
Yeah, And what about you, Carl? You know, you guys were online practicing. You guys put any little extra sneaky strats in the book
Of
for
course,
Sydney?
like we had a ridiculous amount of stuff that teams just didn't even comprehend. I think I was one of the, or we were one of the first teams to sort of pioneer like wall banging all through on Octane. And like on that, is that B bomb over there underneath the hotel? Yeah, we had a lot of that
Yeah.
stuff. We had like a lot of really specific checks and things like that, but just all the typical nerd spots that we'd work through, and just honestly, there's tons of stuff like that on every map. Like we have stuff on Warhawk that no one's ever done that we didn't actually use in the end. Like we've got like a series of wall bangs. Probably, oh, actually, I'm just gonna reveal them now. You can wall bang like all the way from like mid street into like the tin ambulance room and shit like that. Like we'd geeked out hard. We had all this ridiculous stuff and ways of just getting people off spots that just never got used in the end.
Yep. Right, so you guys were both ready for Sydney. Now, you know, we got in our cars or aeroplanes, flew to Sydney, and this is where it all happened. So, first up, we'll go through the bracket here real quick. Avant, you guys had Royal first, which I believe was Bundo's team like that. 3-0'd them. Slight work. Easy. Alright, and Issei, you guys had the New Zealand team Flair. That was a 3-0
straight
as
right,
well.
yeah.
But yeah, both Curse or Trident T1 and Avant were on the side
Yeah.
of the bracket, and you guys had each other next. And Avant, you actually ended up 3-2ing
Yep.
Trident
Yeah.
T1. You know,
That was chaotic.
now
That was a good series.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna start with Issei on this one. You know, after losing, as you mentioned before, you guys were a
Yeah.
hype team, right? After losing to
Yeah.
Avant, and you know, this was for
Yeah.
LA. What were you guys feeling like in the
I
losers
remember
bracket?
it. I remember it like so clear. Like we were just so like destroyed. Like we had people come from like interstate to come watch us. Like some of our really good friends on Xbox had come over to Sydney to come watch. Some of our parents had come. My mum came, and like I wanted to like show everyone up and just go through the tournament really dominant. And when we lost, we were actually 2-0 up and we lost 3-2. Oh man, it was pretty chaotic. Like you wouldn't expect that to happen, but it happened, and it's happened to me before at a LAN. It's not a good feeling. Like if you lose legitimately, which we did, but if you lose when you're 2-0 up in the series, like that's chaos. But after that, I just said, look, in the big picture of it was like we would go into a loser bracket final warmed up. We would be rested. We would be playing like majority of the day. So I thought like I just said to him, we came here to go to LA, and I said, this is why we made this team. This is why we've been like putting so much effort in. Like we're not going to go like leave this to go to waste. So it just turned around, and once we started the ball rolling, I think we versed I think it was Insurgency. Yeah, we versed Insurgency, and like, do you know what the score was? That I think it was like 3-1 or 3-0.
That was
Okay,
a
well, there you go.
3-0.
Like from then on, like the ball just started rolling, and like I remembered like I just started to pick up my team vocally, and yeah, it was just it was bad and good at the same time, but it was really crushing.
Yep. And of course, after Insurgency with that 3-0 victory, you guys then had Flare Gaming, which was because you guys had already versed them, it was continuation. You guys had to play. You ended up 6-0 in them, right? And that put you in the loser bracket final.
Yep.
Now, Kyle, after beating Trident
Yep.
T1 and you had immunity next, how did you guys feel going into after beating Trident T1? Obviously, you guys were pumped up, and you had immunity next, who you had never beaten on LAN before. What were the feels going into this match?
Honestly, pretty elated. Like we beat Issei's team. Like we had a really, really like filthy rivalry going on, so that was just like so satisfying to get that win. But going in versing immunity, I don't know. Like I've done so many LANs. I've been to this so many times, been to that point so many times. It's not really like it's a big deal, yeah, but it doesn't affect me really negatively in any way. I'm just pumped. I'm ready to go. I just show up, play my game on the day.
Right. And, you know, you guys had your match against
Mhm.
Immunity, and they 3-0'd
Yep.
you guys. So this meant that you were into the loser bracket final where you'd meet with Trident T1 Daughters once again. And, you know, after that loss, and then knowing that Trident T1 Daughters went through the losers bracket without dropping a map, you know, did that make you a little bit nervous, or were
Not
you
really.
just, you know, just another game? Let's continue.
Yeah, not
All
not
right.
really at all. It's just like another game. We just beaten them, so we knew we had a like a mentality advantage over them. Like I don't think I'd ever seen anyone look so down after a loss. Like we just knew that we'd had
Yep.
like a pretty strong backbone to like move in and then finish that off and then play versus Immunity again. So yeah.
Now, of course, because you guys had versed them early and it was 3-2 to Avant, it was
Mhm.
continuation. And you guys ended up getting 6-4'd by Trident T1 Daughters. So, you know, T1 Daughters had to win 4 maps. You guys had to
Mhm.
win 3. And this meant that T1 Daughters was confirmed top 2 and Avant was not going to LA. I am guessing that you guys would have been very upset, but I sort of want to know more about, you know, what you guys were feeling.
Well, yeah, man. Of course it sucks. Like I've been doing this for a long time now, but I have too much fun playing for it to really be that much of a big deal to me. Like I still play, I still finish the rest of the season. I'm still gonna play AW, but yeah, it's sort of crushing. But I knew like the team we had, like we'd had Benno who had literally never played COD. Like this was his first time playing, and he was already better than 99% of the community. So I was honestly really happy with what we had and what we'd achieved in such like a short amount of time with the skill that we had. But yeah, I mean like of course it's crushing. It sucks to lose. Like I'm there to win, not to lose. But I don't know, man. I've done enough times. It's just easy to bounce back.
Yep. Now, Issei, you went into the grand final against Immunity, who, as I'm looking at it now, they dropped 1 map. It was right at the beginning against Envy, but since then they did not drop a single map. They 3-0'd Avant. Now, you guys came short by 1 map in Melbourne. You know, going into that match, what was it like?
Grand final.
Yeah, you guys knew that you were going to LA no matter what. So, but
I remember before the grand final started, Puckett like got us up on the stage and he's like, "Yeah, what do you think?" And I'm just like, to be honest, I don't really care if we win or lose. Like I've qualified, that was my main goal. I said, "Hey, it would be nice to actually win and become a champion and win some extra money." So the first map was Dom Octane. I remember I was just looking at my phone because it was just like feeding with like all this Twitter shit, and the rest of my team was like full into it. And for some reason, I was like, I wasn't really like my head wasn't really in the game. I was in a dream. So, but after that first map, we got like raped on Dom Octane. And then after that, it was just like I put my phone down, put it on the ground, I focused, and I started leading the team. And then it was just up from there. So yeah, as Vilesyder said, like we had a really big rivalry with both IM and Avant, and like beating IM was just like, you know what I mean? Like just seeing them lose, bro, was like the best feeling ever. So it was really, really satisfying, and I knew we deserved it because I said before we even fucking started playing this game, I just said the team that I'm gonna have, like I said to God, I said, give me the placing that I deserve, and so my team, the team that I had, put all the effort in to win, and that's what we deserve. So that's what we got. We won it, and we got the ticket to LA and all that kind of stuff.
yeah, and I really should have asked this question just before we started on this event, but you know, going into before Sydney, and you had that rivalry with Immunity and Avant. Both teams blacklisted you. They told everyone not to scrim you, not to give you the advantage and whatnot. You know, how did that make you guys feel? Obviously,
yeah, it was
mad.
What? How I felt that they did that?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a bit childish, but I don't know. Like I guess it bit them in the ass in the end. I mean, like it's, to be honest, you want to be versing like the best teams you can verse before you even like go to an event like this. So the fact that they didn't want to scrim us was dumb, but they may have thought it was a good idea or not, but whatever.
And Carl, of course, because you've been a part of Avant and made the decision to blacklist Curse, what was sort of the reasoning for doing
Honestly,
that?
man, I fully covered this topic. I wrote like a big long tweet, like a tweet longer after that, specifically to Issei and his boys. I think I just met up with Damage and Dens briefly after the event. Like, I didn't really want to go that back into it because I've totally I'm done with that that whole debacle. It was way, way overblown for what it should have been, and I definitely apologize and tried to right any wrongs that were done. But the community loves drama. It was cool to have like a good solid rivalry against another team. I think that just makes it so much more fun for the viewer. But yeah, honestly, this is just like bringing up old drama that I've already covered and I've already sorted out. So yeah, I'm not really keen to dig back into it.
That's fair enough. So obviously, Avant, you're out, and T1 you're going to LA. Now, Issei, I was watching a video the other day. It was an interview with, I believe, Puckett on the main stage after you guys had won. Now, you said that you wanted to go to COD Champs and you wanted to get top 8.
Yep.
That was your goal, right? Now, you guys went to COD Champs, and in the first, the pool play, you guys beat powerhouses. I can't quite remember what teams. You beat FaZe, right? FaZe. After you guys won that match, what was that like?
We had a briefing the night before, and everyone was like, "Yeah, these Australians are gonna get like raped by FaZe, like straight raped, bro." Like even Bryce and like all the casters were like, "Yeah, you're pretty much versing Proofy and JCap, and like they're the best players at the moment, so you're pretty much gonna get raped." And we made a bet with Bryce, and I'm just like, if we beat them, you're gonna have to bow down to us on the stage when we win. And we went into the match like I can't remember the first match we played. I think it was Dom Strike Zone, and like the Americans had already known the whirlpool fucking strat, like on Strike Zone where you just go to the opposite flag. Like none of the Australians knew about this like at the time, so we went into the match like kind of like not knowing how to play the map properly. But we actually did a really good job. We only lost, I don't know what the scoreline was, but it wasn't like a rape. It was like pretty close, like 10 points or something. We played S&D, and like it was really odd versing them like in S&D. Like they weren't aggressive at all. Like they weren't pushing up. They didn't really make use of the map. So we just abused that, and like me and Chillins were rushing, Dens and Damage. Really good S&D players. They used their AR, and when we won, it was just like it was mind blowing, bro. Like I'm sure everyone at home when they saw that was like, "What? Like that's pretty crazy." But no, we gained a lot of respect after that first match because the night before, like people didn't know who we were, and then as soon as we won, like people were just coming up to us and introducing themselves and things like that. So yeah, it was really good.
Right, so after you guys had qualified through pool play, both you guys and Immunity, Immunity beat Envious, I believe. I think they beat like another powerhouse team on pool play or something like that. Now, knowing that both Australian teams had both qualified for the second day, and what was Twitter and also the COD Champs players like towards you guys after you'd qualified? Because I mean, you guys were, people were saying that you're one of the best S&D teams in the world. So like, what was that like for you?
Oh, what? Like after the whole thing was done?
Well, after the pool play, just after the pool play.
Oh, after the pool play, like we had to versus SK Gaming on main stage's German team with Kiwi, and if we won that, that means we would go into we would have won our pool 3-0. We won our pool 3-0, and then but if we tied or we lost, how the fuck can we tie? What am I talking about? If we lost, we would have all been in a 2-1 what's it called? A 2-1 tie. So like for us to win that, it was like like a good milestone to hit because we just wanted to top our pool to give us the best possible chance of the double bracket. So yeah, no, it was amazing winning our pool. Obviously, you gain a lot of respect and a lot of attraction. So yeah.
And you know the pro players over there, you know, what were they like towards you after the pool play had finished? You know, like, do they come up to you and give you like mad respect and you know?
Yeah, like when we were getting lunch and things like that, or going for a smoke or anything like that. I remember we had conversations with Karma, Nate Shot. I remember when the whole competition was done, we met a lot of players, and I still talk to them like every day now. So it was a really good experience, and to gain respect from these kind of players is just like what you dream of. So.
Yep. So moving on to the championship bracket, you know, you went into COD Champs. You said that you wanted to get top 8. So this is the day or days that you needed to do that. First up, you guys had Vitality Returns. You 3-1 them. You guys were going on to round 2. You know, after that 3-1, and you had Rise Nation, a really strong team, you know, a top 8 American team. But knowing that you had already beaten FaZe, another top team, were you guys really, really confident against Rise?
I can't really say. Like we just went in and played. Like I don't think about this kind of shit when I go and play games against these kind of teams. I just play. Like if you think about it too much, you're just going to play bad. So I remember we just like played really smart, especially on S&D against them. We got heaps of clutches against Rise. They had fears at the time. Their lineup's still the same. They just got attached now. But yeah, no, they were a really good team. Like. Gun skill wise, they were like really, really good, but just in S&D, they were like pretty lost.
Yeah, and of course that was a 3-2 victory
we
to
won,
you guys.
It was
So
S&D Sovereign last map, I think.
Yeah, and so you know that last map coming so close, you know, what were you guys sort of thinking? You know, like if you got this, you guys were pretty much top
6.
5, like
Yep.
top six, yeah. So you know, if you got this, were you like? I'm just curious. Were you like screaming at people?
Yeah, no, we were like,
yeah,
yeah.
You were?
We played exactly the way we played at Sydney, like the hype, all the calls that we do, and all that kind of stuff. Like otherwise, you can't play good if you don't play how you usually play. And obviously, people found it a bit strange, but it worked for us. So.
So of course, you guys beat Rise Nation 3-2, and then you moved on to Optic Gaming. You know, the world's most favorite team. You know, all those fans. Now, Scumpy, man. Like, if I was to verse Scumpy, that'd just be crazy. Like, how did it feel going up against questionably a top 3 American team?
It was pretty intimidating. I remember like where we were staged in the venue, like we had us and then we had Optic over here. There was just like so many Optic people, and there were like 5 people behind us. So like when you're actually there and you're playing at a LAN, like it's pretty I don't know. It's just it's really intimidating having like that much support for a team behind them. But like we messed up a lot of times in that series. Honestly, if we could do it again, I think we would have won. We fucked up domination strike zone really hard. We were winning, and then we got trapped. I think Nato got like 11 kill spree like at front B, and it was just silly mistakes. And then we won S&D Warhawk, and then we played Blitz Octane. It was like the dumbest. Like we just played bad maps. Like we were up against oh fuck me. I can't remember the AR on their team. Was it Clayster? Was Clayster on the champs team?
I think it would have been Clay.
Yeah, it was Clayster. Like he was just raping us on Blitz Octane, and like it was just bad maps to choose against such a strong slaying team. Like especially with Clayster, like on Octane, it was like chaos. But yeah, no, it was crazy. That match was like, you felt really exhausted like when you lose a game like that because the crowd behind them is really like stressing you out. So yeah.
Yeah. Now, of course, you guys got 3-1 by them and moved down to the losers bracket, but you know, in doing that so far, you guys had got top 6, and that was crazy. I mean, I remember the whole Australian and New Zealand scene. You know, they were just like, wow, and an Australian team just got like top 6. That's mad. Now you guys weren't
Yeah.
even out yet, but next you guys did have Envious. You know, really strong team. They went on to play second at COD Champs, and you know, coming off that loss, you know, that must have played a part, I guess, and because you guys got 3-0'd by Envious. Do you think that lost
Yeah,
from
no,
that
it's just all
loss
downhill
from
from Optic, and I think it was just lack of
yeah.
experience, honestly. Um, if we could verse them again, I don't know if we win, I don't know if we lose, but it's just like came down to experience. Like when you're in a loser bracket against these kind of teams, like that's all I can really say. We lost fair and square.
Yep. So obviously you guys got knocked out there, and you guys had to play a placement match against
Yeah.
FaZe. Am I correct? Yep. Yeah. So you guys beat them 3-2
Yeah,
on the
we beat
first
them
day,
3-2 on the second
and
day. Oh, third or second day, yeah.
yeah. So this was for $75,000 or 80,000 in Australian. You know, that's a crazy amount. You know, so after you guys beat FaZe, you guys got 5th at COD Champs. How did you guys feel?
Oh, I felt like a king, bro. Like, we put Australia in terms of exposure out there. We've done everything we could have that any team could have done representing Australia. So I don't know. I think of ourselves as pioneers for Australian Call of Duty. Like we're the ones that just really like made the rest of the world understand that there is an Australian Call of Duty scene and all that kind of stuff. So it was really good, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Right. So I think that pretty much wraps up COD Champs, and you know, I want to congratulate you guys for doing that. I mean, you know, it did. It definitely opened up the Australian and New Zealand scene. So yeah. Now, guys, for those of you guys that are watching, you guys can tweet at me. Now I've got a lot of people blocked on Twitter, so.